Okay, I'm back on here. I'm doing a double take because I missed a day, I think. And I'm going to do chapter 15 of Exodus, King James and Message version in one video. I'm just going to jump right in. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation. My father's God, I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts have he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. And in the greatness of thine excellency thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as a heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in the mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength and in thy holy habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold of the inhabitants of Palestina. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, and mighty men of Moab. Trembling shall take hold of them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thine arm, they shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Lord, till the people pass over, which thou hast purchased. Thou shalt bring them in, and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. The Lord shall reign forever and ever. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen unto the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea, and Miriam the prophetess, sister of Aaron, took a timber in her hand, and all the women went out with her, with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he hath thrown into the sea. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness, and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the water of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree which he hath cast into the waters, and the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statue and the ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, If thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. I'm going right into the message of Exodus chapter 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to God, giving voice together. I'm singing my heart out to God, what a victory. He pitched his horse and rider into the sea. God is my strength, he is my song, and yes, God is my salvation. This is the kind of God I have. And I'm telling the world, this is the God of my father. I'm spreading the news far and wide. God is a fighter, pure God, through and through. Pharaoh's chariots and army he dumped in the sea. The elite of his officers he drowned in the Red Sea. Wild ocean waters poured over them. They sank like a rock in the deep blue sea. Your song, right hand, God, shimmers with power. Your strong right hand shatters the enemy. In your mighty majesty, you smash your upstart enemies. You let loose your hot anger and burn them to a crisp. At a blast from your nostrils, the waters piled up, tumbling streams dammed up. Wild oceans curdled into swamp. The enemy spoke, I'll pursue, I'll hunt them down, I'll divide up the plunder, I'll gut myself on them, I'll pull out my sword, my fist will send them reeling. You blew with all your might, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead weight in the majestic waters. Who compares with you among gods, O God? Who compares with you in power and holy majesty and awesome praises? Wonder-working God. You stretched out your right hand, and the earth swallowed them up. But the people you redeemed, you led in merciful love. You guided them under your protection in your holy name. When people heard, they were scared. Philistines writhed and trembled. Yes, even the head men of Edom were shaken, and the big bosses of Moab. Everybody in Canaan panicked and fell faint. Dread and terror sent them reeling. Before your brandished right arm, they were struck dumb like a stone. Until your people crossed over and entered. O God, until the people you made crossed over and entered. You brought them and planted them on the mountain of your heritage, the place where you live, the place you made your sanctuary, Master. That you established with your own hands. Let God rule forever, for eternity. Yes, Pharaoh's horses and chariots and riders went into the sea, and God turned the waters back on them. But the Israelites walked on dry land, right through the middle of the sea. Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine, and all the women followed her with tambourines, dancing. Miriam led them in singing. Sing to God, what a victory! He pitched horse and rider into the sea. Moses led Israel from the Red Sea on the wilderness of Shur. They traveled for 3 days through the wilderness without finding any water. They got to Marah, but they couldn't drink the water in Marah. It was bitter. That's why they called the place Marah, bitter. And the people complained to Moses, "So what are we supposed to drink?" So Moses carried out in prayer to God. God pointed him to a stick of wood. Moses threw it into the water, and the water turned sweet. That's the place where God set up rules and procedures. That's where he started testing them. God said, if you listen obediently to how God tells you to live in his presence, obeying his commandments and keeping all his laws, then I won't strike you with all the diseases I inflicted upon the Egyptians. I am God, your healer. They came to Elim, where there were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees. They set up camp there by the water. I guess I don't really have too much to say about this chapter, except, they were praising him and so grateful and like, yes, we got our strong God and no one's better than him, and he did this and he did that, and he got rid of Pharaoh and his men, and they're like lead at the bottom of the sea, and talking about how the Edomites and Moabites and all of them are trembling in fear at them. They're praising God. They're giving him his due, for sure. The best that they can, at least, being human. And, got their tamarines out and everything. But, it seems like now they're going through the wilderness. Now this new journey has started through this wilderness now. They don't have to worry about Pharaoh or anything anymore, and they've praised God for it, and now everybody's moving on. What's next? The new season. And it's the wilderness. And they're going 3 days without water, so that's kind of crazy. I don't know if you've ever done a dry fast. I mean, they may be eating during this time. Doesn't say that they weren't eating. It does say that they didn't have water for 3 days, though, to drink. And that does make me think of dry fasting. Yes, it is possible to not eat or drink for 3 days, even longer, but I'm not going to suggest that you do that unless you actually prepare your body and train your body over a period of time for things like that. I mean, just your makeup and how much fat and water is stored in your body, all kinds of those sorts of elements really matter when it comes to not eating and drinking for a number of days, especially the kind that you're trying to get God's attention and you're really concentrating on some prayer and reading his word and just really refining yourself, cleansing yourself inside and out. It's not something to be taken lightly or going to, but it almost seems like these guys are going into some kind of a fast they're not really doing it on purpose. But it just seems like, because it's 3 days, that's just like a sacred number. There's several of these numbers that have meaning. 3, 7, 8, 12. There's just certain numbers in this book that have great significance. 1, there's several. And so I don't take it lightly that they mentioned for 3 days they were without water until they could get it again. There's something very significant about that. Not really sure what it is. If you guys have caught on to that or something about it speaks to you, I would love to hear it in your commenting. But they're complaining. I'm not going to judge them for that. They're thirsty, haven't had anything to drink in 3 days. So they're asking, what are we going to drink? What are we supposed to drink? And Moses is like this middleman, like an interceder, talking to God, like, what he's praying to him. They're asking Moses, and Moses is going straight to God, the source, right? So he's praying, and God just gives him these simple gestures. But it's like he's training Moses to be like not just this interceder, a spokesman, or just like this middleman or whatever. But it's like he's got a real deep relationship with Moses, where Moses is raising his hand, raising his staff, doing all these things, and God is working through him. And it's just getting to a point where it almost seems like it's really natural. He prays to God, and then God points at this stick, or let me see what it says in the King James Version. I'm just going to pop at the bottom. Verse 25, and he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. It's just, he didn't even have to think about it. He prayed to God, and God was like, get that tree. And it's just easy going. His relationship with God is like he's interacting with God, and it's not like this struggle to do so. God just tells him do this thing, or there's that thing, get that thing, and he does it. It's very rare for people nowadays to have something like that going on with God, like really walking with him, really in a real true relationship, like really interacting. And it doesn't take a lot to do so, or to hear him, or any of that. So I'm just really impressed. That's kind of what ran into my mind when I read this part today. It says that this is also the area that this situation of God just kind of declaring some things, the beginning of this covenant, this marriage is starting here. He's starting to create the idea for them in their heads that, it says in 26, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do all that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. He's basically saying, do what Moses is doing. At this point, that's basically what seems like what Moses is doing, like the relationship that he has with him. And he's like, kind of like Moses is an example, And if you guys can be more like this, do what I'm telling you to do, live right in my sight, actually hear me, I'm going to have your back. You don't have to worry about what happened to those Egyptians happening to you. I got your back. And he brought him to a place where there were 12 wells of water and a bunch of palm trees. So it seems like this sweet little tropical area after this. It doesn't seem like they agreed to it yet, but he's putting it in there, putting it in their ear. That he's got their back. They just got to do their part, which is basically walking with God, earnestly giving it their all, with all their heart, mind, soul, strength type thing. Not perfect like he is perfect, but and what we can in our human capacity, giving our best, all our might, and never giving up. Even if you stumble and fall, get back up. Don't give up. Keep going. Stay with God. So that's about it when it comes to chapter 15, which is a really cool chapter. There's no drama happening in it, aside from the bitter water, but that was solved really quickly. And God's taking care of them. He's getting them ready for a very big step in life, in the world, in history. So we're going to move on to chapter 16, I guess, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see. I might end up reading it today. I'm not sure. If not, I'll just see you guys tomorrow. And I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you got something out of this. Yeah, that's about it. I love you guys. I'll see you in chapter 16 of Exodus. Bye.